Well, hi, on this hot day. Yeah, it went from, my son says it went from March to July. Uh, so today is the 11th of May, and so we're going to be meeting again on the 18th and then the 25th, and then we'll take our month-long break. So and the next couple times, if there's something you want to do, if there's something you want to repeat or go over, some anything, just let me know, and we'll be sure to do that. So um, you know that a lot of what we do has to do with moving this life force energy through the body mind system. And in a sense, from a Buddhist point of view, if you go into the Heart Sutra of the Mahayana, uh, form becomes boundlessness and boundlessness becomes form. And so the Qigong, we're starting with the form of the body, the heaviness, and so on, and moving into boundlessness, and then moving back into form, and doing that in an intentional kind of way. So tonight we're going to take this a step further. So it's not just physical form that we can sort of dissolve, or using the breath, that we can sort of the metaphor would be the wind blowing the clouds away. So it's not just physical form or the awareness of the senses, which is the same thing. It has to do also with internal formations, and those can be thought forms, or they can be emotions, which are thought forms expressed in the body, uh, or they can be energetic blockages in the body. So that might mean, since the whole body is conscious, that could mean um, the storage of traumatic experience in the body that's not exactly a thing in the physical sense, but is a blockage uh, in the metaphysical sense. So it's still a form. So in the Buddhist way of thinking, thoughts are forms. They're just non-physical forms. Uh, so um, in the same way we can experience through the sense of touch, we can experience sort of the dissolution or expansion or radiation of the body, the energy through the body, and the body becomes sort of porous and much lighter. This movement of the energy through the system and then out beyond the system, by its very nature, um, tends to cleanse the energetic presence of blockages. And that's what it's for. And those can be psychological blockages. And so, in a sense, we don't have to pay too much attention to what those might be. It's just the experience of uh, um, suffusion and then radiance just moves any heavy material. It just moves it through. It sort of dissolves it. Um, and then after a while, we just find ourselves becoming lighter. And we can't really explain why. But the things that were causing us to be blocked or heavy just don't seem as important in some way. And modern psychotherapy will actually identify those blockages, and using the mind and so on will work through them, where the Eastern traditions, they're not so much focusing on that, they're just moving this energy through, and that movement is carrying, any forms with it, and sort of dissolving them, because forms can't exist in boundlessness. So uh, so we'll be moving from sort of the breathing the stars, the radiance, the transfer of physical form or sensation into this expanded awareness, which we do every time. You're all familiar with this. Then in our meditation practice, we'll apply that to non-physical forms. So that can be memories, it can be emotions, it can be attitudes, it can be habits of mind, any of these things that we can use exactly the same process to to dissolve those. So it's kind of a combination of the more modern psychologistic approach, and then the very ancient moving energy approach, because we're modern Western people, and we may resonate more with one side or the other of that sort of array of options. So sorry you guys missed that long-winded explanation, but you you'll figure it out, I promise. Uh, so having said all that, I'm going to turn on my fan. I hope it doesn't make too much noise, because it's pretty stuffy in this little space here. So I mean, I know the space I'm in appears vast to you, but it's actually like a 10 by 10 room. So let's move on. So just like in mystical traditions of the East, where the path can be described, it's in many ways, but one is sort of dissolving the sense of separate self. First, we have to establish a sense of separate self, don't we, in order to be free of it. We have to have a sense of who we are, and we have to have boundaries and all of those things. So when we're starting Qigong, we're really just coming into this body, the, this separate body. This body it's your body. It's not someone else's, and we know it's connected to all things. But in this beginning, we're just coming into it, fully inhabiting it. And sort of noticing if there's, oh, excuse me, let me change this setting here a little bit. Okay. Yeah, just sort of noticing how your body is right now. Is it tired? Is it jangly? Is it energized? Is there pain anywhere? Is it tense? Is it relaxed? Just noticing. You don't have to do anything about any of it. And then just sort of let go, and doing just this simple movement, and just enjoy it. Just let the body do this. And the mind becomes empty, and there's just mindfulness or awareness. We're just experiencing this movement. You could say we're doing this movement, and that's correct. And you can also say, well, we're experiencing this movement, and that's also correct, because we both produce and consume our experience moment to moment. And just let the body move freely. The only thing is we want to keep our feet rooted, because that's our energetic connection to the earth. You know, I was planting potatoes earlier this week, and I had these seed potatoes, and they were beginning to sprout. Uh, and the sprouts were coming out of the potato, and they were moving toward the light. And I buried them in the ground about a foot down, and the potato knows which way is up. It knows to send the shoot not down, not to the left or right, but up. It knows that, and it does that. So if a potato has that kind of consciousness, how much consciousness is there in this body? All the organs and so on. It's pretty staggering. When we meet in class, a lot of times at the beginning, when we're standing in the circle, we would dedicate the practice that we're about to do, that we're doing, um, to either the ancestors who brought it to us or to someone else, sort of inviting someone into this body to be here, practice with us, um, or just to bring up a sense of gratitude. Something like, I can stand. I can move. I can breathe. I can see. I can hear. I can smell, taste, touch. And I'm so grateful. And for this opportunity to carry on these ancient practices. Just so grateful. And then just feel what effect that has on the body. And then go ahead and establish your verticality. And it can be helpful to use the eyes. If your eyes are partly closed, just looking down, cast the attention down into the earth, and bring the attention up through the body. And out the top of the head, up into the universe. Connected to form and to emptiness. Okay, and your hands, your arms might just sort of naturally go into this standing one position. Okay, so we've established the presence of this body using the mind, and now we can move out in all directions. Let's go ahead and bow to the east. So dipping the knees. Shift the weight to the left, step around, shift to the right, pivot on the heel, and now to the south, out breath, in breath as we come up. Shift the weight, step around, pivot on the heel, and bow in the out breath, west, shift the weight, Step around, pivot the heel. In breath, bow on the out breath, north. Shift the weight, step around, pivot the heel. Sink the knees, up, 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 up. Extend. Out breath. This last one, let the hands move away from the body a little bit with the in-breath. Come back to the body a little bit with the out-breath. And relax the whole body. So you can feel the body expand and then relax. And imagine and feel the whole body expanding. This gets a little bigger, then relaxes. Whole body. Okay, very good. Moving the hands up to the heart. Widen your stance a little. So, out breath, in breath. Okay, now feel the whole body expanding. And then relaxing. Okay, now let's do reverse breathing. So this is the out breath. This is the in breath. And breathe out the pores of the skin in all directions. And use your imagination, your intention to expand beyond the body. The body's right here, it's right in the center, and it's always present even when we're expanding beyond it. Smile a little bit. And now just breathe naturally. Okay, let's reduce the movements. All right, let's go into touching heaven, touching earth. Only in this one, the palms are gonna face up and down. So one up, one down, palms face up and down. Gather, out, extend. Okay, now let's try pointing with the fingers. See how that's different. Okay, let's do a few more. And you can either point with the fingers or use the open palm. Pointing with the fingers is intentional, it extends the intention out. Using the palms is more receptive. It's like we're drawing in. And then see if you can do both at once. So we're pointing with the fingers and opening the palms. Now we're projecting and we're receiving. Okay, let's do a couple more. Let's go into breathing the stars. So in breath, we breathe in light, starlight, through the pores of the skin, lighting up the torso. Out breath, we breathe that out through the pores of the skin in all directions. Filling the body with the in-breath, emptying all the stars in the sky, rush in. Sky becomes empty. Body fills. All the stars rush back out. Body empties. Are you the body that's filling and emptying? Or are you the universe that's filling and emptying? It's a constant interplay of light and darkness. In breath and out breath. Left and right, up and down. Okay, let's take a couple more. Okay, and now let's go into cloud hands. One palm up, one down. So shift, switch, turn. Now you can just let go of all the visualization and so on and just enjoy the move. Do this slowly or faster, more subtly or bigger, however you want it. So we're inhabiting the space around the body with the hands and also behind the body, all around. Okay. And then whenever you're ready, just go ahead and switch so the palms are facing each other. With the breath. There's no right speed to do this. Just do it with the breath. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Yes, so there's a resonance inside the body, the middle dantian at the heart, the lower dantian in the abdomen. As you move the hands, you can feel this internally. So the palms are telling the story. This is Qigong. This is inside the body. Okay, let's go back to standing. So that's receptive. So, and now let's do the generative of producing. So using the fingers this time. So point to the earth and then in breath, pointing to the inside of the spine, tension goes up the spine, pointing to the head, pointing to the sky, out, and then down the inside front of the body, and down, all the way down into the earth. Switch hands. Breathe normally. This is extending, extending way, way, way up. Tension, the tension is inside the body, down the front, then down, out the perineum, out the feet, down into the earth. Extend, and then come back up with the other one. Do this at your own pace. We're using the fingers to point, to direct our attention, to direct the energy. Now the hand that's not moving is in standing one position. So the palm is kind of facing somewhat up. One hand is receptive, the other hand is directing or creating. Okay, let's do one more with each hand. Okay, now let's do both at once. In breath, this is tree and spring. Very good. Okay, and now diagonal flying. So we're in cloud hands. The lower hand is going to shoot up. Upper hand behind the body. Okay, the hand that shoots up is pointing. The other hand is receptive. So the hand is propelled by the waist, turning the waist. Okay, let's reduce the movement. And now we turn the palms to the body. And back to standing, one position. The palms are slightly open. Reestablish the vertical column. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and take our seats. Okay, and just let your body move around a little bit. And just sort of come into the stillness sort of on its own. You've seen these things where you drop a penny down a chute and it goes around, it spirals around, until finally it drops into a hole at the bottom. Now, for these practices, I'm going to suggest that you sit with your palms up. This is optional, of course. Put your hands however you like, but this would be recommended. And then just let your mind settle into the body and feel that posture take shape. So pushing the abdomen out a tiny bit, pulling the shoulders back just a little, dropping the chin a little bit. Until you feel yourself your body just sort of come into this alignment, and you can feel that, and it just sort of, it all clicks into place, kind of. And then you're aligned with the heavens and the earth. Okay, so let's do the breathing the stars. This is to contribute to expand the porosity of the body. In breath, the air comes in the nose. Also, light or energy, starlight, comes in through the pores of the skin, all around, back, front, left, right, up, down. Fills the body. With the out breath, it all shoots back out. So the whole torso or the whole body lights up. And you can do reverse breathing on this if you like, as long as you're doing it with the breath. You can have it rush in with the out breath or the in breath. So first our attention is on the body, feeling, noticing that the body, whole body filled with this life force energy, this light. And then it shoots out in all directions. The body empties. And the emptiness of the body is what the Buddhists call a luminous emptiness. It's not black, it's not nothing. Because consciousness is still there. And consciousness is like luminosity. So we fill the body with this light, and it goes out in all directions, and the emptiness is luminous. And same thing with the environment, the surroundings. We breathe all the stars, galaxies, everything in, and what we're left with is this luminous emptiness. Now, all of this is conscious. The body is conscious. The universe is conscious. The light is conscious, and the luminosity is conscious. So what that means is we can take the point of view of the body, filling, emptying. We can take the point of view of the universe, or the surroundings, being full of stars and galaxies and so on, and then being empty. And the body, which is sort of down there in the middle, fills up, lights up. So if you take the point of view of the vast emptiness, there's a point of light in the middle, that's the body. And then the vast emptiness is vast fullness, and the body is sort of the luminous point in the middle. And we could be just as comfortable being that vastness as we can in being this limited body. Because we're really both. So this is called the practice which removes all obstructions. And it's a long haul. But form cannot exist in boundlessness. Okay, so this is using the body. The body becomes formless. And now the same space, the outer space around the body, is also the space of the mind. It's exactly the same. So it's that emptiness on the out breath when it all goes out. That's the space of the mind, okay? That's conscious. Now let's just call to mind just any kind of a neutral image. It doesn't matter what it is, just a neutral image in the mind. You can see it. You can experience it with the mind. It's an object of mind. It's there. And now, with the breathing the stars, when it goes out, let it dissolve. And then when everything rushes in, you can let it reform. It's carried on the breath. It's carried into the space of the mind on the breath, and it's carried out into boundlessness on the breath. Okay, now let's let there appear in the space of the mind something that doesn't have to be a big thing, just something that's annoying, something that bothers you, keeps coming up. Um, Whatever it is, let's say dandelions in your yard, or those little ants crawling on the table, or a barking dog that lives next door, which is some little annoyance. Let it come into the mind, let it be there, and then dissolve it, send it out. Okay, now let's bring up something else. It can be a memory, something that was hard. Maybe you were sick, or maybe you were very unhappy. So maybe someone close to you passed away, or something that's been heavy in your heart, some fear that you had. Let that appear, bring it in, and then scatter it in all directions. Okay. So we're bringing these objects of mind up, and we're dissolving them in all directions, and then we're replacing that with just this pure light. That's the next in-breath. And bring to mind a person in your life, someone you know who's suffering in some way. Let them come into your consciousness and feel that, and then let it dissolve for a moment. And do this with any object of mind. It can be a bad dream. It can be a very old memory that still pains. It can be anxiety over events in your life or in the world. We're just allowing them to move through. So that we can experience the clarity. We're not getting rid of these things. We're putting them into a much bigger context so that we can be with them with awareness. If it's our friend who's suffering, we're not ending their suffering or running away from it. We're diffusing it into something much bigger, which is the universality of suffering, so that we can be more present with that person. Or if the person is us, if maybe you've been struggling with something in your heart, in your mind, some memory, difficult relationship, breathe it in so it forms, then breathe it out, dissolve it. Repeat if necessary, so that you can be with it and not be under its weight. And you can just do the breathing the stars. You can just do the breathing. You don't have to bring in objects, because they'll dissolve on their own, just with the process which dissolves obstructions. You can also do this vertically, so you can breathe in from the earth up through the feet, the perineum, breathe out through the top of the head into the universe, and or the reverse, breathe down and then down into the earth, or any number of ways. So you can do it vertically, or you can do it in terms of radiance. Okay, the form moving into emptiness, the emptiness moving into form, is inherent in the breath. Just by focusing on the breath, it's the same thing. In breath, we take form. Out breath, we go into boundlessness. The breath can become the object of meditation if you want it to. And you can allow a little smile to form. Let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and then when you're ready, your body may have become a little stiff. Okay. Okay, very good. Right. Let's go ahead now and do the closing movements. Start with one clap of the hands. 1, 2, 3. And well, thank you so much for your presence, for your practice. And if you'd like to exit the Zoom, that's fine. If you'd like to stay a little bit, that's fine too. Well, I guess it's down to you and me.